Hello and welcome to my podcast. A podcast about knitting and sewing. I'd like to share with you what I'm working on. Not so much future plans because, well, that's a bit of a commitment, isn't it? But the reason I would like to do this podcast is that I'm very good at casting on and then casting on something else and casting on something else. I really need to start finishing things. I live in the northwest of England. My name is Suzanne and it is the 5th of October. And the first thing I want to talk to you about or share with you is what I'm wearing. The Learning to Cry shawl by Helen Stewart, Curious Handmade. And this is the pattern, excuse me, and this is the pattern. It's a very pretty shawl, it's and very light. It is, you knit it that way on, so you start in a corner and you're increasing either side, but you're garter stitching down and down, and then you use mohair to create this pattern. It's very, very pretty. And I used wool by Sherry Iris, fingering weight yarn here for the garter stitch, and then mohair here for the pattern. And the colourway was Sunday Afternoons. I haven't got the ball band anymore, but I think it was non-superwash merino and then kid silk mohair. It's very pretty, very light, and it's a finished object. The next thing I want to share with you is another shawl. I've never taken part in a knit along, let alone a mystery knit along, and this was the Stillness Shawl mystery knit along by Curious Handmade, Helen Stewart. Excuse me. And I am knitting it in three colourway wool from the Wool Barn, and it is 100% superwash blue face Leicester, and it's a fingering weight yarn or 4-ply, and I'm knitting it in, that's the Belle Epoque colourway, ballet slippers, which is it's very, coming across very pale in the camera. It's a sort of well, it's ballet slippers. It's ballet slipper pink. It's a really pretty pink, and it's blowing out a little bit. I think that's what you call it. And then misty mauve, lovely. Now I can't take any what's the word? I didn't put these colours together. I can't take any credit. That's the word. I can't take any credit for this colourway. It was actually a kit made up by the Wool Barn for the Stillness Shawl. Quite a few yarn dyers did kits. They put colourways together for the Stillness Shawl, but that one appealed to me. So I have just finished Clue 3. It came out in June, I think, and you buy the pattern and it's released over, I think there were 5 clues released over 5 weeks. Every Thursday a new clue came out, and the idea is that you finish one clue for the next Thursday or whenever the next one came out. But I went wrong on this part of the shawl here, this pattern here, this bit of the pattern here. I went completely wrong. It said to knit to the last 4 or 5 stitches. I had 3. So I took it off the needles and I ripped it back and put it back on the needles, and then just left it. What I should have done, and I don't know why I didn't, was use stitch markers. I don't know why I didn't. Anyway, or even put in a lifeline. thought obviously I could do this. Anyway, I've put it back on the needles. I've got it out again, and I'm now at the end of clue 3. I have finished in the middle of a row, which isn't the thing to do. But if I hold it up, it's going to be a big shawl. I've got 264 stitches on the needle at the moment, and I think it works up to something like 500 and something stitches when you're actually near the end. So that's pretty big shawl. More like I think that the description of this would be a pie shawl. You know, because it's rounded, and I believe that the edging is an I-cord edging, and I've never done one of those before. But as long as you remember, it works. It's yeah, I'm quite pleased with that, and I will finish it. I will finish it, but I need to get some stitch. I have got stitch markers, but as the shawl gets bigger, I'm obviously going to need some more. I'll just pop all this, and I'm knitting it in a bag I made myself, and it's Cape Foreman. I think it's Cape Foreman. I don't think it's peony and sage. It's a Cape Foreman fabric. It's linen. Oh, it's absolutely lovely. And I just lined it with calico. Just a very simple box bottom bag. See, I'm not very good at lining up those seams very well. I think I made a better job on. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Perhaps I made a better job on that one there. But yes. So that is how far I've got on my mystery knit along, the stillness shawl. Just dropped a ball of wool. Oh. There we go. So that's another work in progress. Another work in progress is a garment I'm knitting for my granddaughter. And another first, I have never knitted a garment top down, and you knit this one top down, as you can see. I've knitted the body of the garment, the back and sides. You knit that all in one, and then you cast on for the sleeve. Now I think, look, holding those sleeves up, they look a bit big. But of course, I'm knitting the widest part first, coming down to the cuff. So maybe that's why it just looks a bit big. Anyway, I'll have a look at that, and then I've got the other sleeve to do, and the button band here, and the pattern is by Along of Ekana, and it is the Rosa Little. It's a lovely pattern, and it wasn't difficult. I don't know why I've never tried this before. Little crop cardigan, and the wool I'm using is a Rowan commercial yarn, a Rowan, and it is Baby Cash Soft Merino. It knitted to the same sort of the tension required on the pattern, and it's a DK. It's very, very pretty. Rose, the colourway is called. It's very, very pretty. It's got a bit of acrylic in it, which I'm not a fan of. It's acrylic, 50% wool, 39% acrylic. No, that would be 33% acrylic and 10% cashmere. But it can go in the washing machine, which when you're knitting for children is probably an advantage. I don't think I want to present my daughter-in-law with a lot of hand washing. Yeah, that's almost to say about that one. I use circulars all the time, but these are Knit Pro Symphony. These are the fixed circulars, the little 40 centimetre cable ones. I think that maybe that's why it's looking big. It's a bit stretched out. I don't know. I'm sure I've got the right amount of stitches on there, but I need to look at that. Anyway, so that was that one. So that's another work in progress. Another work in progress is some socks. And I'm knitting these again on Sherry Iris yarn, and it's a sock club. It's a sock club in the countryside sock club from last October, so it's a year ago. I bought this, and it's a lovely, it's coming up more grey, but it's a lovely sort of leafy green, very autumnal colours there, and the contrast is, it's a 2x2 rib. The pattern is the Winnick Mum pattern, a very basic, very easy pattern, and it's for knitting on. I think it's a free pattern, but I won't give too much away just in case. And it's on knitting on 9-inch circulars, because I cannot use DPNs, and I cannot get my head around magic loop, so I use these, and they work. And that's, I should have brought the sock blockers down. I could have done it too, but that's a pair of socks for my son-in-law. So I've just got to Kitchener, and I've got to concentrate on Kitchener stitch. I really do. And then that one will be finished, and I will cast on another one. And I'm using Chaigu needles, the 9-inch circulars, 2.25. I like these. I like them. I have used higher sharps. The clue's in the name. They are very sharp, and your fingers are like pincushions at the end of the day. So I prefer these. I don't think you need to have them as sharp as the higher sharps. They work. I like those. And this is another homemade bag, and I know this is a Kate Foreman fabric. It's gorgeous. It's lovely and soft, and I think there's a bit of silk in the fabric. I can't remember what this is called now. It's something roses, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I bought it as a remnant on eBay. Absolutely gorgeous. What's that one? And then the other thing I'm knitting is again in my another Elderflower Stitches bag, this time a box bottom bag. Seams, look at that, it's perfect. This was Susie's Flower Power Fun bag, and it's gorgeous Liberty fabric, and then the inside is lined, the little pockets are all lined with Liberty fabric. I am knitting, I saw this front of a woman's magazine when I was in the supermarket not so long ago, and I thought, I'll knit this for my little grandson. The little boy doesn't look too happy about it, does he? And I thought, knit that. And so I bought the yarn that is recommended, which is again commercial yarn, and it is Third Art Country Classic. I remember. I'm not a fan of acrylic, but this is actually 50% wool, 50% acrylic, and it will go in the washing machine, which I think is, as I've said, crucial. I have literally only just started it. I've got that much done, but I have got all of the colours to knit the little train jumper, and it all fits snugly in my bag. So hopefully I'll be a bit further on. If I ever do this again, I'll be a bit further on with that, and maybe there might even be a bit of a picture. It shouldn't, I mean, it knits up pretty quickly. It's a DK, isn't it? So it should knit up quickly. Oh, I've got one more to show you. One more. This again is a sock I'm knitting. I don't know who's going to be the recipient, maybe me, but what I'm trying again for the first time, a lot of firsts, is a pattern sock. I've only ever knitted the plain Winnick Mum sock. So I'm now going to knit Woodland Walk shawl socks by Olivia Villarreal. It's a paid for pattern, but it's got this lovely pattern down here. And the pattern is designed to be knitted on magic loop, because the pattern you've got a back and a front kind of a thing. I'm doing mine on my 9-inch circulars. I've just literally just started casting on the other colour. I'm doing it in 2 colours because this was a sock set, and I'm only where's that come from? I'm only just started the rib, and it's the rib where you knit into the back of the knit stitch. I don't think that's twisted rib, but so that was something else a little different too. It sort of gives a and the colourway and the yarn I'm using is, the yarn is by Hedgerow Yarns, and the colourway is Bouquet, and it sort of sits like that. Very pretty. This is a lot pinker than it's coming out very sort of creamy, but it is actually it's like a blush pink. Very, very, very nice. And then obviously there's little bits of the blue in the lips. Let's show you. And again, knitting on Chaigu 2.25 needles, 9-inch circulars. So that's all my works in progress. You see now, that's enough really, isn't it, to be getting on with. Not silly anymore. What I have been buying is some wool from, this is from Sherry Iris. Isn't that lovely? This is the August Sock Club Life of Birds collection. Absolutely lovely. There's it's more like beigey browns and greys. It's gorgeous. And little mini there, contrast mini. And you always get with a sock club, you always get a stitch marker, and that looks like a sheaf of corn, I think. Or is it flowers in a? Or is it flowers in a basket? It's flower. I don't know. I think it might be flowers in a basket. But it's oh, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Let's see. I also bought some minis, and this was the Anne of Green Gables collection, and they're sort of very autumnal colours, aren't they? Very greens and ambers and lovely. And this colourway is Anne. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I did think about making the Snuggle Down cow, holding it with what I have left from my Sunday afternoon shawl, the Learning to Cry shawl, the Sunday afternoon colourway, because you have to hold this with mohair, otherwise the pattern calls for DK. And this is sturdy sock yarn. So I might see. I might knit it up and see how it looks. 'Cause I'm not very good at putting colours together and thinking how. Oh my gosh, this will work. That won't work. So I'm not sure. but it'd be a good way of using that up. So there's that purchase. That's the snuggle down cowl. So you've got the colours. It's a paid for pattern. So if you don't use the mohair, it would have to be double knitting wool. But it doesn't use very much wool, so I think I would probably have enough. So there's that. And then I bought this because I liked it. It's from Sherry Iris again, and it is called Les Roses. Actually. Yeah. And it is, again, it's pinks and soft greens and it's gorgeous. And I thought, I just want that. I have no idea what I'll do with it. It'll probably be socks, but I just thought this is so pretty, lovely. So, and also I also bought from Sherry Iris a project bag, vintage porcelain. It's called, and that's the lining. Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and the signature tab. What I didn't realise until I was getting it out to show today is there's a gorgeous progress keeper on it. It's like a little pink flower inside. Gorgeous. And you drawstring bag, box bottom, perfect seams again. And when you buy from Sherry Iris, when you buy the sock club, everything, whatever you buy comes beautifully wrapped. But for the sock club, Sherry puts them in it's like a sleeve really. It's a sleeve of very pretty fabric, and it's wrapped up, the wool itself is wrapped up in tissue paper, and what have I done with it? Oh, here we are. And you get a little matching lavender bag. It smells gorgeous. So, and with my vintage porcelain, I got a matching lavender bag that matches the lining. It's so pretty, that fabric. Lovely fabrics. So those were my purchases. I really must stop doing the impulse buy because I end up with a lot of one skein of a colourway. I need to start buying a bit more of a colourway and knitting a garment maybe. So that's all my knitting, and I think that's certainly enough. Oh, I did bring the sock blocker down. Oh no, it's too late now. I did bring the sock blocker down. What I'm sewing at the moment, I'm very new to quilting. What I am doing is a quilt for my granddaughter for Christmas, and this is a free pattern. You can download it from the Lewis and Irene website, and it is called Fairy Lights. You can see, and it's 25 blocks, and then you wad it, and you have a backing and a binding, and then you could quilt it. Now I've never done that before. So I tend to see these as kind of like patchwork quilts, but that's one of the blocks I've done. I do it exactly to the pattern. I've bought the fabric that they designed the pattern around. You get at the bottom of the pattern, the fabric requirements, you get all the codes for the fabric that they used, and it's very helpful. And then you get a picture of the block, and then you know how you put it together. They're lovely. The fabrics are absolutely lovely. Some might say a little expensive, but they're made in this country. The fabric is made in this country, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. So I think I've done 12 of these. I've got another 13 to go, but it doesn't take long. I was getting a bit fussy about ironing everything, and I think that distorted the fabric a bit, because one quilt I made, for my little grandson, when you looked at the blocks, they just all weren't quite quite right, and I thought, I think it's because I've ironed it I've distorted the fabric a bit. So this I haven't ironed. I've steamed it, but I haven't ironed it. So I'm quite pleased with that actually, because everything seems to be sort of where it should be. You see? So yes, so another 13 to go. I've not actually timed myself putting these blocks together. I should do really. It probably doesn't take me that long. Just have to sort of crack on with it really. I do get distracted, but yeah, I think that'll be great when it's all put together. It'll be a decent size quilt too. It's not like a lap quilt. Yeah, but I don't think I'll be quilting it as such. I don't even know if I could stitch in the ditch. Maybe I think if you've got a straight line, you can stitch in the ditch. Maybe I might try that. I could always unpick it if it didn't look right. What would worry me was it wasn't very neat. Fairy Lights by Lewis and Irene. Well, I think that's it. Yes, that's quite enough, and I have burbled on now for nearly 27 minutes. I think that's long enough. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing. There may be another episode. I have to think of a title yet. I'm not quite sure. The kitchen knitting podcast came to mind, but I'm not sure. The thing is, there are so many out there now that you might be pinching somebody's title. Anyway, thank you.